Ah, Eurovision, how much I love you. As the easiest way to understand geopolitics and how much neighbouring countries actually hate each other, it also makes for a fun evening of having unrealistic expectations for the United Kingdom's entrant. It's coming home, I'm sure of it. I had totally forgotten that Eurovision was coming up on the weekend of this upload, so I'm switching up the format so it's a direct application for Graham Norton's job. However, were I to succeed, I would be immediately sacked for the contents of my jokes, but nevertheless, to prove my worthiness as the next generation of Eurovision broadcasting, I made a single rule. I've got one view of the video, and I had to stick with whatever joke I came up with on the spot. I'm coming for you, Graham. You cannot escape me. Over the years, there's some excellent standout performances, also a load of shit. Here are some of my favourites. The first Eurovision was held in 1956 and was won by Switzerland. Presumably, the after-party was funded by all of that missing gold that no one seems to know where it went. Of note, behind the winner is a young Germanic boy, whom I presume had been struggling for work after the end of the Hitler Youth. Luxembourg in the 1980s delivered a song about penguins. Mercifully, they didn't use the British classic Pingu as inspiration for the performance, as they didn't proceed to piss all over the stage. Austria in 2003 delivered a classic, and by classic, I mean a classic case of Where Did All My PCP Go? Demonstrating that Austria isn't just fancy smoked meats, they decided to put a silly sausage on stage instead. Eurovision has always maintained a particular genre of music that I like to call dads at weddings. Germany and Lithuania particularly encapsulate this energy, with the only thing missing being a tie around the forehead and a food stain of unknown origin. Iceland has brought many heavy metal acts to the Eurovision faithful, but this year they neglected their CeraVe moisturiser. With skin like testicles if you stay in the bath too long, they bring much needed variety to the incessant plague of Europop. Ah, the Russians. Having not competed in recent contests due to horrific war crimes, their last and best known entrance was a group of old women who would go on to be conscripted to the 3rd Battalion Infantry in Ukraine. France has had some incredibly solid entries over the years, but this year, sadly, was not one of them, as even their drummer had died of embarrassment, but was contractually obligated to finish the performance as an angel. Ukraine has had a few great years, but certainly this wasn't one of them. They decided to go to the top of their Christmas tree and pick out their favourite ornament, and then gave it sentience. Uh-oh, it's made its escape. And yes, I know, the United Kingdom has had some stinkers, but I will give them the exact same energy as everyone else, as I am a fair god. Scooch performed Flying the Flag. Scooch, if you're wondering, is what Scottish people say in between excuse me and headbutting someone who won't get out of the way. It was a terrible shame to learn that Scooch, after the singing had dried up, had gone back to being a flight crew, this time aboard the ill-fated Malaysian Flight 370. Estonia in 2008 decided to do an art installation instead, depicting the free artist trying to flee from the nearest school zone before their probation officer notices. Moldova in 2011 decided to prove that garden gnomes are not just lazy layabouts, and that they also pursue musical passions outside of sitting still and being pottery. Israel came up with a very catchy song called Time, and I've wrote here, you should probably cut this one, but I won't. In a prophetic piece of foreshadowing, Israel decided to name their song the exact thing the Palestinian people are running out of. Romania in 2013 did another art installation, but this time it was a depiction of a sphincter, and that one piece of shit that you just can't shake free. Montenegro managed to somehow reach out and acquire the services of Louis Spencer's even gayer cousin.
And I've told you, sit, head roll, head roll, head roll. You've got to rehearse it. Or, what about the crawl? What about the crawl? You know you're doing the crawl and the contract release, round, down, up, there.
Causing me great confusion as I studied the map. Australia are allowed to compete in Eurovision, presumably because none of their artists are allowed to return to their country. This time on Border Force. Is there a reason why you've got 15 kilograms of black tar heroin lined in your dress, ma'am? Ireland is actually not going to catch any flack for sending us Jedward, as absolutely no Jedward slander is going to be tolerated on this channel, as I was there when Jedward was performing on stage and broke his leg, but finished the act nevertheless. Most normal people would have reacted like so. "Oh, you're right there, Jedward." "No, I broke me fucking leg, you idiot." I will, however, make fun of Ireland for sending out a turkey to perform one year, though we are yet to have Turkey send out an Ireland to perform, but I won't hold my breath. Austria had one a year with a great performance by a bearded lady. I don't know why my friends were laughing at me for going home with her, as the beard is surprisingly easy to miss after 4 Jaeger bombs. Israel are back with another win, where their performer makes the frenzied noise that chickens make after seeing their first KFC. No jokes for Alexander Rybak, just vibes. This was a fun little exercise, but the main event is set for tomorrow, where I will do exactly the same thing, but make jokes this year on the spot for each entrance of the Eurovision Song Contest 2024. So you better subscribe or follow or some shit, I don't care.